So when you boil down this Agile Manifesto, which is put together, if you do a search for Agile Manifesto, you'll see the original one. Sources there at agilemanifesto.org. It has a sort of a column, individuals and interactions over process and tools. So the Agile side is blue. The traditional side for programming and for a lot of business decision-making is the green. Completed projects, so the actual completed projects. Now I transitioned this from completed products to completed projects. But if you're thinking about a service or some other type of tool that could be a product, you could say completed product. Comprehensive documentation. So a lot of technical people out there have looked at comprehensive documentation as the most important thing. They like to make sure that documentation is all buttoned up. And everyone appreciates that. Everyone appreciates documentation that's user-friendly. However, in this day and age where fast development and fast business decisions need to be made, if you're using a process that's like Agile, your smaller components are easier to document and easier to catalog and track. So that's part of the benefit of this. Customer collaboration versus contract negotiation. So what Scrum generally does is say, I want to collaborate with the customer. And this could be another department internally. It could be a subset of the department that you're in if you're developing a project around that. Or it could be an outside client. So your customer doesn't have to be an external person or even an external organization. Contract negotiation on the other side says, we've written all this stuff down, we've signed it on the dotted line, this is where you're going to deliver. I have A through Z and then double A through double Z items that you're going to deliver. This is the contract. And we know now that the internet changes all that because it's such a flexible place for people to develop new projects, new products, new services on the fly. So it requires the business have a similar flexibility. Responding to change versus following a plan. So at each iteration of this Scrum process, what we learn is responding to change is so much more important, and actually acknowledging that change and incorporating it into your process is so much more important than following the plan. Back in the day, it was like, well, did we get from A to F? Okay, great, we got to F, we followed the plan, we've made it, done. The question becomes, are you still in the same situation you were when you first started that project? These days, perhaps not. So this gives us the overall, in these three boxes, which we'll walk through next, the roles that are related to Scrum frameworks, what ceremonies, what things repeat themselves over and over again, and then what artifacts, what materials come out of the actual framework. What's the documentation that you get to use it another way, or what can you evaluate, how can you evaluate your progress?